Goldfish Granny. I never learned her real name. She lived in a grand home with a lacquered brown door and a fish tank brimming with puffy red cichlids. Her floors were wooden and glossy, and I would lie on them for hours at a time, thinking of ways I could speak to the fish. With unblinking eyes, they'd approach me from behind the glass and sing bubbles into the water, their pouts opening and closing. You, they said. You. Well, I'd respond. Me. After I learned how to introduce myself to them, I'd spend the rest of the afternoons trailing Goldfish Granny. While she tended to the weeds in her garden, I searched for stones and hid the smoothest ones in her pockets. That way she wouldn't miss me when I had to go home for the day. It would plop out at bedtime, and she would know that I'd been thinking of her. I hoped she knew this. Most afternoons she would tuck me into bed and brush the hair from my eyes, letting the sunlight trickle onto my lids as I fell asleep. After an hour, I'd wake to the sound of the blender and the sweet smell of banana and milk. Her way of showing me she'd missed me too. After sipping at the froth and then gulping down the rest, I'd kiss the jade bracelet at the bedside table and join Goldfish Granny at the front step. She'd help me slip into a jacket while I fumbled with my shoelaces, glancing at the fish as they laughed at my shoddy efforts. We'd walk hand in hand to the grocery store a few blocks away, sharing this bit of warmth as the sun sank lower into the sky. I'd count the lines on the ground, gripping her hand tight to hurdle myself over the larger cracks. The first time we entered the market, the fish were large and gray, and several were crammed into a single rectangular tank. They butt heads and slapped at one another, mouths gaping and pleading, but I couldn't understand them. Sometimes I'd cry, spluttering, "I don't know." I didn't know how to end their misery, so I'd weep into Granny's stomach while pointing at them. Maybe she knew how to comfort them, just as she knew more Cantonese, knew how to make banana milk, knew how to clean dirt beneath my fingernails, and how to say "good child" in a way that made me feel like I was born from her own blood. But she'd forgotten how to speak to the sea the same year she left home and moved into this landlocked country. So we rushed to the other aisles and pick out lemon tea, sausages for clay pot rice, green onions, and chicken legs for herbal soup. After shelling out a few bills to the cashier, she stuffed the leftover coins into my pocket and we walked home in silence. I counted out 2 quarters, a dime, and 3 nickels, their weight the same as the stones I collected for Goldfish Granny. When my parents arrived at nightfall, I bid goodnight to the cichlids. I pressed my hands to my cheeks, mirroring the open-mouthed way they gawked at me, and said, "Zaijian, we'll meet again." For Granny, I said, "I will miss you." On the car ride home, I foraged my jean pockets for the jangling coins, my treasure, and instead fished out a smooth sliver of granite. In Wo, there is you. Ni.
Hi, Bushwick and Jack Straw and everyone. Thank you so much for having me again. I really enjoyed writing Warmer by Your Fire to Kristiesong's piece, Goldfish Granny. It's such a beautiful piece. The imagery is amazing, and it really spoke to me as I'm going through the house that I grew up in and moving on from it and going through memories and saying goodbye to some things and deciding what to keep along. So it really was so wonderful to read the story and have it be parallel to what I'm going through, and I hope you enjoy the piece. And again, thanks so much for having me.
Bubble wrap tape boxes we bought on sale to keep things from breaking while we wait until the day we'll unwrap it and put it all back. Sift through the wreckage, sorting fiction from fact. You hung the pictures, now I'm taking them down just to hang them back up on the other side of town. A puzzle piece lost, found under the bed. We thought it was gone, but it slept there under your head. Now I'm unpacking what transpired putting things back where they go. I was warmer by your fire. I just thought you should know. You tend the garden and I'll hold the stones. Never wrote down everything that you've grown. Forgotten old seeds mixed with miles of dirt. Some things we lose and it doesn't hurt. I know it's human nature, but I've gotten lazy. Let the pictures sit out and they're getting all hazy. My skin's not the same, yeah, it's getting older. Why is it only now I see the weight on your shoulders? Now I'm unpacking what transpired, putting things back where they go. I was warmer by your fire. I just thought you'd like to know. Yeah, I'm unpacking what transpired, putting things back where they go. We are warmer by your fire. I just thought you'd like to know. Bubble wrap tape boxes we bought on sale to keep things from breaking while we wait until